Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New this morning, there's a winter weather advisory in effect for tomorrow for our northern counties. I'll show you the latest on what could be some wintry weather.
Roads protected. We're going to show you how DOT teams are getting the roads ready to keep you and your family safe during tomorrow's weather. And jury questions. New defense moves could change who's allowed to serve and who will decide the Hedingham mass shooting case. All right, thanks so much for waking up with us here this Thursday morning on WRAL News. I am Chris Levingood. You are a trooper if you're up at 4:30 right now. You're definitely a trooper if you have to head out in these cold temperatures that we're expecting. But it's not just today that we're tracking, Elizabeth. It's also tomorrow's weather maker you're looking into.
So this morning, it's just all about the cold, some frost out there, maybe even a little bit of patchy fog in a few places. But of course, tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. We're looking at the potential for a wintry mix north of I-40. And then beyond that, we're looking at rain on and off for the bulk of the day, especially in our southeastern counties. We're not likely to see any more mixing after lunchtime. We're just going to warm things up too much. The storm system has definitely developed since yesterday. This is it right here along the Gulf Coast, along the southern end of this front. It will ride northward into the cold air that's in place, and in our northern counties will begin as some wintry precipitation. This is 10 o'clock tonight, and at that point we start to see some rain pushing in. There's midnight, and again in our northern counties, that's where we could see some snow and eventually changing over to a wintry mix. Notice how that precipitation drifts southward. We could have some snow even in the northern part of Wake County. We could have some accumulation, especially on grassy surfaces, cars, that sort of thing. I wouldn't anticipate bridges would be slick, but it's something you want to watch out for very closely. So once we get past 5 o'clock, then we start to see the warmth surging northward, and then the precipitation starting to taper off in the north, and it's all rain to the south and east. So we're going to talk more about some specific totals for where you are coming up, but we do have that winter weather advisory in effect for Durham County and Orange County, and then all of our counties that border Virginia. We take a look at what's happening outside right now. It is clear, it is beautiful, but it's 31 degrees, so we're already sitting below freezing in the Triangle. It's 29 in Southern Pines and Fayetteville, 27 Rocky Mount, 28 in Roxborough. So we're going to set the stage with some cold temperatures, and again, you may have to scrape your windshield for this morning. This afternoon, we'll see increasing clouds. It'll be warmer in the mid-50s. We'll talk more about those temperatures falling tonight coming up.
All right, we'll come back to you in just a bit there, Elizabeth. Thank you. DOT teams are not waiting for that wintry mix to start, though. Let's bring in Monica Casey. She joins us live with a look at the safety steps that are in play right now. Monica, right at this moment, teams are preparing the brine trucks.
That's right. While wintry weather may not be affecting today's commute, all eyes are on tomorrow morning. I spoke with NCDOT Public Information Officer Kim Diener about their preparations, and she tells me they are prepared, including they have extra staff and contractors on standby. Diener tells me today NCDOT will be brining all elevated surfaces in the Triangle District.
That's bridges, overpasses in all counties, all of our counties. So that's Wake County, that's Durham, that's Vance, Person, Granville, Franklin, Warren County.
Diener also tells me if the forecast holds, they may brine 440, Capitol Boulevard, and 264 today. I also spoke with the city of Durham about their preparations. The city tells me trucks will be outfitted with plows, spreaders, and blades to respond if needed. And later this morning, we'll be getting an inside look at the city of Durham's salt barn to see how they are preparing. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And just a reminder, you can count on the WRAL Severe Weather Team to keep a close eye on this system. Get the newest weather updates with the WRAL Weather app. Oh, and make sure you turn on those push notifications. That way you can get important alerts right on your phone. The driver of a pickup truck was taken to the hospital overnight after a crash involving an Amtrak train. What you're seeing right here in this video, this is the scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker near Lizzie Mill Road in Johnston County. A firefighter on scene confirmed the driver was taken to the hospital, and we're trying to learn just how badly they were injured. Amtrak shows the train resumed service around 2:15 this morning. A judge will hear new requests today from the defense in the trial for Austin Thompson. He is accused in the Hedingham mass shooting that killed 5 people and injured others in 2022. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is live outside the Wake County Courthouse. Ali, what will likely come up in this high-profile case?
The trial is set to start in 3 months, but in the next few hours, we're expecting to see all parties here to discuss any updates or progress about the Hedingham mass shooting case. They'll likely be discussing 3 motions that were filed about 24 hours ago, all of them aimed at narrowing down who will sit on the jury and decide Thompson's guilt or innocence in the shooting that left 5 people dead and more injured. The motions include requests that potential jurors be questioned individually, that the judge check each juror's race, and the potential jurors answer a questionnaire. We spoke with Durham defense attorney Daniel Meyer, who's not involved in the Hedingham case, but he says a questionnaire, it's common for a case of this magnitude.
They're often used in higher profile cases. And in a case like this, where you especially want to be able to say fairly quickly, do you know anything about the case? Is there something that's going to disqualify you? Let's not waste an hour of time talking to you if we know you're not going to stay.
Now, another motion we've told you about that could come up today is Thompson's legal team wants to stop one neighbor from testifying at trial, saying her story changed over the course of the investigation. Of course, WRAL will be there at the hearing. It starts at 9 a.m. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
The man charged in the death of Wake Med officer Roger Smith was indicted by a grand jury. 29-year-old Benji Martin is in jail without bond. The defense claims Martin did not have a gun on him when he went to the facility that day. They also claim Martin was at the facility to be treated for what they call mental anguish. They say Martin's fiancee just had a miscarriage and lost both their twins. A Nash County woman accused of child abuse and cruelty to animals is expected to be in court this morning. 46-year-old Amanda Wiersma is charged with 4 counts of felony cruelty to animals and 1 count of child abuse and neglect. Deputies say they found multiple dead animals on her property and poor housing conditions inside. They also say there was a lack of running water. Durham officials are investigating a fire overnight. Look at your screen. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around 9:30 last night. The fire department says firefighters saw smoke coming from the building when they arrived. They eventually found that fire on the 2nd floor and it was quickly put out. At last check, no injuries were reported. All December events at the Raleigh Convention Center are canceled because of that fire that happened this week on the rooftop. At least one downtown hotel says refunds may be available for guests who were affected. Staff at the Marriott City Center say that event changes have caused roughly 125 room cancellations. The general manager told us nearly half of the hotel's business is tied to events at the convention center on any given week. So WRAL reached out to other local hotels because we wanted to see if they will also offer refunds, but we haven't received a response from them. New this morning, Durham County Sheriff Clarence Burkhead has announced his re-election bid for sheriff. Sheriff Burkhead was sworn in as the first African-American sheriff in Durham County back in 2018. Well, he's now looking to be elected into his 3rd term in that position. In a statement, he said, quote, "It is during these challenging times that consistent leadership is so important, and that is why I made the decision to seek a 3rd term," end quote. State leaders are taking on Duke Energy over proposed rate hikes. The utility company is proposing a 15% increase over the next 2 years. This rate bump could potentially add up to $30 a month to household bills by 2028. State Attorney General Jeff Jackson stepped in on this case. He says that increase is too high, and Governor Josh Stein agrees and says rates are already high as it is. He wants to see the number come down.
The data centers suck up an incredible amount of energy, and energy costs are too high as they are. They're rising. Duke Energy has just asked for a double-digit rate increase at the Utilities Commission, something that I hope is severely scrutinized and shrunk because it's too expensive as it is.
Duke Energy says they don't take any rate increase lightly, especially when the company knows the North Carolina Utilities Commission will have to evaluate changes. Business owners at a salon in Cary are unsure what to do next after they were served with an eviction notice. The tenants at Phoenix Salon say they received that notice despite paying rent. They say they were shocked to learn payments were not reaching the actual landlord. And so we spoke with a stylist who says the person taking her rent payments was not the owner.
And we always thought he owned it. And he says his hands are tied because he turns the rent money in, but apparently somebody above him has not been paying it.
There are almost 30 businesses in this building that more than enough cover the rent. So we don't understand how Since June, the rent has not been paid. Not one penny.
Not one penny. The notice came from only 3 or 4 tenants not paying rent. And we reached out to the manager at that location, but it was the president and CEO of Phoenix Salon Franchising that responded. He says the location is independently owned and they are working with the landlord to find a solution. Happening today, Clayton is getting into the holiday spirit. The town is hosting its Christmas Village and tree lighting celebration. There will be local businesses and live performances. Kids will get a chance to meet Santa and Mrs. Claus. That event will be on Main Street from Horn Square to Town Square. It starts at 5 and it lasts until 8. And the Raleigh Police Department is celebrating its new graduates from the Community Police Academy. That's a free 9-week program to give citizens an inside look at how the department operates. The department says this is the first graduation since the Academy's recent rebranding, and today's ceremony will be at the Law Enforcement Training Center on Law Enforcement Drive, and that is at 6 p.m. Also happening today, the town of Cary is swearing in its newest city council members. Carissa Cone-Johnson, Bella Huang, and Brittany Richards will be joining the council. That ceremony will be in Town Hall and the lobby at 5 p.m. Time now this morning is 4:40. Surprise pardon. A Democratic lawmaker gets a lifeline from President Trump. Here are the answers. Republican U.S. Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina wants to know about the pardon process. And flu cases rising. We are looking at the newest numbers, including deaths reported in North Carolina. Let's go ahead and step outside and get you a live look this morning from Rocky Mount Mills. Maybe you were there for the tower lighting that we had last night. It was pretty fun. Well, you can enjoy the dry time today, but meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is going to walk through that wintry mix that's on the way to the Triangle.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's nice and clear out there right now. As a matter of fact, you might see a great big beautiful moon. It will be full tonight, but tonight is going to be cloudy as our next storm system rolls on in. 27 in Rocky Mount right now. It's 31 in Durham and Raleigh. We had so much fun last night lighting the towers, and for the most part, they are still lit. We're going to get that one here. Station turned on here in a little while. A little bit of fog may show up for you this morning, especially if you drive through a low-lying area. 31 in Durham, 29 Holly Springs, 31 Cary, and in Garner. So be on the lookout for that. It's a cold one this morning, even colder than yesterday. 28 in Roxborough, 27 in Rocky Mount. So kids at the bus stop will be in their big puffy coats this morning. We climb above freezing by 9 a.m. It is a bit warmer this afternoon in the mid-50s, but of course we're looking at wintry weather for parts of the viewing area tonight. We'll go over some of the totals coming up.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are reacting to President Donald Trump's most recent pardon, this one for a Democrat. Congressman Henry Quiller is being pardoned after he and his wife were accused of bribery. In a Truth Social post, the president accused the Biden administration of targeting him after he called Trump highly respected. Shortly after news of the pardon, the congressman announced plans to run for re-election. He denied cutting a deal with the White House and thanked him for the pardon. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, though, was critical of the Trump administration's strategy for issuing pardons.
I want to know who is responsible for making the pardon recommendations, what they're thinking. I can't imagine if he had a fulsome explanation of what was going on and how it was going to be perceived by the American public, Republicans and Democrats, that some of these pardons would have actually occurred.
I want to thank President Trump for this action that he took. On behalf of my wife and my family, I want to say thank you.
Trump also issued a pardon yesterday for former entertainment executive Tim Lukey. He was accused of orchestrating a conspiracy to rig the bidding process for an arena at a university in Texas. Today, we could learn more about a watchdog report accusing the defense secretary of endangering American troops. The report says Pete Hegseth potentially put troops at risk when he used the Signal app to share highly sensitive information about planned strikes in Yemen. The Inspector General's report also concluded the senior Defense Department officials need better training on protocols. The findings were sent to Congress on Tuesday. An unclassified version is set to be made public today. Investigators are offering a new reward for information about the killing of a U.S. Army specialist. The Army Criminal Investigations Division is now offering $20,000 to help find who killed Jose Juan Melendez Jr. in 2017. He was killed in Raleigh while walking to his car. He was set to return to duty at Fort Bragg that same day. North Carolina is now reporting 6 flu deaths so far this season. All 6 were adults over the age of 50. 8% of tests reported by hospitals are coming back positive in North Carolina. In fact, the CDC reports a 5% rise in positive flu tests week over week in the country. Meanwhile, advisors to the CDC are considering a major change to the childhood vaccine schedule that could delay the hepatitis B vaccine that newborns receive by weeks or even years. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said giving the vaccine to newborns is motivated by money, not health concerns. Infectious disease experts say, though, it is key to preventing an illness that's easy to catch and impossible to cure. New data shows hundreds of arrests were made during the recent immigration enforcement operation in North Carolina. The Department of Homeland Security says it arrested more than 400 people as part of Operation Charlotte's Web. Those numbers are specifically tied to the Charlotte area, but operations also extended into our area. This led to widespread protests across the Triangle. Homeland Security has not released any numbers on their efforts in the Raleigh area specifically. A long battle to keep a rock quarry next to Umstead State Park may be over. In terms of expanding the park, that is. Back in 2018, changes were made to the Wake Stone Quarry permit. They removed a sunset clause and allowed construction closer to Crabtree Creek. Well, yesterday, a Wake County judge reversed those changes. The ruling is a big win for environmental groups. We reached out to the Department of Environmental Quality and the owners of the quarry, but we have not heard back just yet. All right, do want to talk a little bit about what's going on weather-wise, the weather maker. There's something going on today, right? Looking at the weather alerts, but also tomorrow, that wintry mix, which some may rebrand as festive, but I don't know, Elizabeth.
We were talking about that yesterday. Folks who were up near the Virginia line could actually see some accumulating snow, maybe up to an inch. This is brand new this morning, this winter weather advisory. All of our counties that border Virginia, and then Durham and Orange County as well. It does not include Wake County, does not include Rocky Mount or anybody down farther to the south. So up to an inch of snow in that purple shaded area. And it will start overnight. There it is. We're finally getting a look at this system. It hadn't developed yesterday, but it's likely to start pretty early. So this is a new thing this morning too. The timeline for the onset of precipitation could be closer to midnight tonight, and it may start as a bit of rain, and then it begins to change over to some snow. The purple shaded area, of course, is a wintry mix, and so there could be some freezing rain or sleet there, but this feels a bit more like more of a snow event. By 5 a.m., we may see this. I tell you what, I got models in two different camps this morning. One of them keeps the line way up here around Durham. The other one brings it down into Wake County, at least just briefly, and then gradually starts to push it northward. So we'll have several hours with the snow potential up to the north, and then by 10 or 11, it begins to taper off. And at that point, it's mainly just maybe a light wintry precip at lunchtime in the Triangle, and then all the rain is down to the east. And we could see some significant amounts of rain. We'll talk more about that coming up. How much snow? Who's going to get it in Raleigh? According to this particular version of Futurecast, our chance of an inch of snow is 0. Durham's 1%, but it goes to 67% in Roxborough and about 35% up in South Hill. So you can see anything that happens, some minor impacts, mainly to bridges, would again be right along the Virginia line, and then from Raleigh northward, we would have limited impact from this. So weather alert day for tomorrow, the new trends, faster arrival of the precipitation closer to midnight. That wintry mix mainly is going to be from Raleigh northward, and up to an inch of snow is possible in those northern counties. It is going to be a cold day tomorrow at 37. Today we'll see increasing clouds, and it'll be mild at 56. We may have some showers lingering into Saturday, but the weekend is trending a little bit drier and milder with low 50s. It's going to be pretty chilly for us Monday and Tuesday.
All right, thank you for your forecast, Elizabeth. Your time is 4:51. Holiday giving. See how Wake County deputies help kids pick out the perfect toys for the holiday. A California judge sentenced the doctor who illegally sold ketamine to actor Matthew Perry. Salvador Plasencia will serve 30 months in prison. He pleaded guilty to distributing the anesthetic drug in July. Plasencia did not provide the fatal dose, though. After serving 2.5 years in prison, he will have 2 years of supervised release. He was also fined $5,600. The Wake County Sheriff's Office is helping spread holiday cheer with its Shop with the Sheriff event. It was at Learning Express Toys in Cary last night. 12 children received a $100 gift card to pick out any toy they wanted.
We're in the business of fun, and we're in the business of, the best place to be during Christmas is a toy store. So it's our job to bring fun and cheer. It's adorable to watch the entire process and how excited everyone gets.
The next event will be held on Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Walmart on Knightdale Boulevard. Oh, and one way to give back this holiday season is through WRAL's annual Coats for the Children campaign. Now through December 31st, we need your help to gather as many coats and hats and gloves as possible. To find a neighborhood Jiffy Lube drop-off location near you or to make a monetary donation, you can scan that code right there on your screen. You can also go to WRAL.com/coats. Help WRAL and the Salvation Army spread warmth and hope this holiday. Well, there are no winners last night during the big Powerball drawing. Here's a look at the numbers just in case you missed them there. 1, 14, 20, 46, 51. The Powerball was 26 and the Power Play multiplier was 3. The jackpot now grows to $820 million. That's a cash value of more than $380 million. You can watch the next drawing live on Saturday night. That's right before our 11 p.m. newscast on WRAL. Get ready for Brian. The moves that DOT teams plan to make today to help keep you safe if wintry weather hits tomorrow. And Austin Thompson in court. New progress in the case of the Hedingham shooting suspect. What his defense team is looking for in potential jurors in the trial. And vaping crackdown. The city of Raleigh could change its rules to stop people from vaping or using e-cigarettes, while leaders could crack down with new regulations.